Hello, hello, hello. Happy holidays. Welcome back to the Dreams to Keys Realty YouTube channel. I am your host, the Essential Millennial Realtor, Jalon Strong. Thank you for everyone who is coming new to the channel and those who are returning. For everyone who is new to the channel and those who are returning, please like the algorithm and stay in the algorithm. I see the video is already acting weird, so we may go to the avatar, but for now, I'll stay on camera. Now, welcome everyone, like I said, to the channel. We do have other platforms or pages that you can follow us on, such as TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Substack. And as we're closing out this year, we're going to change things up into 2026. So make sure that you stay connected with us for those changes and how that could impact you on your journey of home ownership if you're interested in any services with me. So now let's do the link in the description box, highlight of the week. We're going to keep with the preferred lender, which is again the tab that you can see at the link in the description box, which is also the link on our other social media pages. It's moving about at the bottom of the screen. It's beacons.ai/Jalon Strong. There you will find a section that says preferred lender and ask them about their grant program. So not every lender may have a grant program, but our preferred lender does have one. And that's something we recommend you ask if that's something you're interested in. And also, we do welcome you to find your own preferred lender or your own lender for your transaction. You do not have to use our preferred lenders. We consider because we build some rapport and we feel that the services that our ideal clients are looking for are services that they provide in a way we deem is appropriate to work together. So feel free to go to beacons.ai/Jalon Strong and click on the tab that says preferred lender. Don't forget to talk about the grant program. Now we're going to talk about the newest link that we've talked about for several months now on the Crown First Lady website, crownfirstlady.net. That is where I have a separate business where I sell First Lady Scalp Oil. It is an oil that I formulated for myself initially to combat my alopecia issues. I had redness of the scalp. I had been diagnosed at that time with 2 different forms of alopecia, and I wanted to do what I could to find a solution for my situation. Alopecia is not something that in your 30s you want to hear. It's also something that I overcome for people. So for me, I wanted to overcome it, and I didn't want to do it in a way that I wanted to avoid any long-term pills or anything like that. I wanted something that I could do on occasion after wash day or in between. And I formulated this oil that eventually others were asking me for, which is why the business exists. And so thank you to those that were asking, so that now we have Crown First Lady as a business and First Lady Scalp Oil as the formula that I created. We do have a travel or sample size, which is a 1 ounce bottle. So if you're interested in just trying it out, you can go for that. It's $12 right now. And then if you want to go for the full size, which is the 4 ounce bottle, at $86. So get your orders in and we'll make sure that we ship those to you. We have heard that delivery from the time that we put the orders into the hands of our delivery service is 2 days. So hopefully you get your order within the 2 to 5 day range. We've typically said 3 to 5, but we have heard 2 days is the time frame when our orders are delivered to the customer. So please support that business if you're interested. we talked about before the end of the year sale. So for those physical products at dtkrealty.com, if you want any of those physical products like our My Dreams Have Keys collection, where we have shirts, crew necks, hoodies, journals, you want to make sure you get those now because at the end of the year, they will no longer be available. And now you can also get an automatic discount of 70%. No ebooks are included in this. These are physical products that would need to be shipped to you. So we're having an end of the year sale for those products only. If you become a client or something, you may see those products later if I gift them to you. But for sale, they will no longer be for sale at the end of this year. So please take advantage of that. We are going to get into the content of why we're here. We're closing the year with the step 12 of our series, Bingo for Future Homeowners, the Bingo for Homeownership series. So let's pull that up. And we're going to make sure everyone can see it. All right, just checking some things, seeing if everyone can see. StreamYard looks slow on my end, so I don't see it just yet. Okay, and let's share it. Okay. And I just want to make sure everyone can see it and I can see the screen as well. So let me make one change. Okay, StreamYard, waiting for you to respond. All right, StreamYard looks like it's uploading the presentation to the screen in the way I need it. So sorry for the delay. Hopefully everyone can see it now. I'm going to go to the avatar just because we're having some freezing issues. So we can focus on the content. Typically the audio is fine. All right, so we're going to talk about step 12 today, which is appraiser completes appraisal. That means we've gone through 11 prior to this. We've reviewed credit, assessed budget, you've scheduled a consultation with Dreams to Keys Realty, you've gotten pre-approved, created a wish list, hired me, I am the essential millennial realtor, shopped for a home with me, made an offer through my services, received and executed contract, contacted the inspector for the home inspection, and secured financing. Now we're going to talk about the appraiser completes appraisal. And though I made this step 12, it does not necessarily mean that this is happening after secured financing. However, I wanted the buyer to kind of focus on their steps as much as possible in this series, where this step is more of something that the buyer isn't really doing, but needs to know is going on in the process of closing out this transaction. The objectives here are for you to understand the role of the appraiser. It's different from other real estate experts in this transaction, and appreciate what the appraisal means. So what is the role of the appraiser? The appraiser is the client of the lender. So just as you, if you sign an agreement to work with me as your real estate agent, would be my client, the appraiser is the client of the lender. So they don't have a direct responsibility to your real estate agent, and they also don't have a direct responsibility to you. Though there are impacts that you would feel, and of course, you are the reason why we're in this transaction altogether. All parties are involved in this transaction because you want to purchase a home. And so you're gathering people to assist you in that. And they may need to gather people to assist in that. And that's the case with the lender and the appraiser and their business relationship in this regard. The real estate expert making an independent assessment of the property's fair market value is the appraiser. So they have a different role than, let's say, an inspector. An inspector is looking at the physical components and trying to see what may need a repair, what may be a hazard. Whereas the appraiser is looking more at the financial aspect of the value of the property. The appraiser is comparing that property to other properties like it, which we call comparables. And this is not a new concept if you're working with a real estate agent who is talking with you about comparables even prior to making an offer on a property. Comparables help us to really generate whether or not we're making a fair offer on a property when we are presenting offers to the seller or seller's agent. So comparables are also how the appraiser is trying to make that fair market value assessment of the property and provide that as an appraisal value. Hopefully that makes sense. The appraiser is going to receive information. Like I said, the appraiser is the client of the lender. So the lender is going to be able to provide the appraiser some information. When you're working with an experienced real estate agent, that agent is going to have, like I mentioned before, those comparables. And so it would be wise for that agent to give that information to the lender. So should they need additional support for why the offer for this property was made as it was, then that could be provided from the lender to the appraiser because they are the ones in that relationship business-wise. So the appraiser receives that information. That doesn't mean that the appraiser just takes it at face value and does no assessment. The appraiser will evaluate that and put it into perspective based on their expertise and use that information to become educated about the value of this property. They will take that into consideration and provide an appraisal value to the client, which is the lender. What does that mean at the end of the day? So there are some requirements that come with loan options that require for there to be an appraisal. Many different loan options, several mortgage loan options require appraisal value, because should there be an unfortunate case where you have foreclosed on a home, or the bank has to foreclose on the home rather, then the value of the home becomes in question. So this helps to really assert the value of the home at that time of the purchasing. It also helps to protect the lender, because the lender needs to know that they're not upside down in their mortgage loan options that they're providing you. So they're using this process as well to make sure they're making a sound judgment on what those final mortgage loan terms are that they will present to you prior, 3 business days prior to the closing. Also, you as a buyer, it's your time to really assess for your final decision making when it comes to purchasing this property. Would you be upside down if you purchased a property based on what the appraisal value is from the appraiser? Now, keep in mind, an appraiser is just like any other real estate expert in this transaction, in the case that no one is created equal. You may have one appraiser with one value, another appraiser presenting a different value. The idea is that they shouldn't be too far apart in number if they're making the same considerations. However, they may make slightly different considerations. Just as one lender may have one option that another lender might not have access to. So keep that in mind. No one real estate expert is equal to the next. Everyone has their own expertise, their own lane, their own experience. But for you as a buyer, this is your time to make your decision on whether or not it makes sense for you to still buy this property. And this is why the appraisal process needs to really be done earlier, primarily in that due diligence phase, so that you have that time, should you decide this really doesn't make sense for me to buy this property, that you can back out without the financial and legal implications. Let's say you offered for a certain amount of a certain price. You've offered a certain price that would end up eventually being the purchase price for the home. But then with the appraised value, you find that the appraised value is higher than what you've offered. In that case, that's all well and good, because that means the home is worth more than what you're buying it for. And that's not a bad thing when you're the buyer. When you're the seller, you might look at it and say, well, I might have missed some opportunity here to garner more money for this property. But at that point, it's no longer in your court. It's really in the buyer's court to make the decision. Let's say the opposite occurs. You've made an offer and the appraisal price is under your offer. The bank, the lender, typically, most often, more times than not, do not provide the offer amount. They're going to provide that appraisal amount, because they're looking at what is the fair market value. And the appraisal value is to assess the fair market value of the property at that time. So it does not support their lending or funding options for them to provide above that. So if you still decide to purchase this property, you would be expected to supply any additional funds above that appraisal price or appraisal value. So keep that in mind. If you're really thinking that you must buy this property for whatever reason, and that appraisal value is under what you're offering, then that may be the case where you have to come out of pocket, or If gift funds are feasible, talk with your lender to see how you can still make that financial piece happen. All things financial need to be discussed with your lender, not with your real estate agent. So some in-depth, quick conversations. When I say quick, I mean time is of the essence. Make sure you have those as soon as possible. Don't wait days and days because that could affect your opportunities. So that is why it's very critical that you pay attention to the appraisal value because it does impact what that means for you at the end of the day as a buyer. And it's impacting others as well. What is the next step? There are several next steps. One that you've probably seen before, especially in the last step of this series, was time is of the essence. Keep that in mind. You don't have time to waste because when you lag in your time of response to any real estate experts, you are potentially pushing back your closing date. And if you push back your closing date, that means the numbers for funding and lending all have to be worked out again. That could garner additional fees for you in the transaction. So make sure that you're not costing yourself on any end by delaying responses or not considering that there's work that has to be done after you respond to real estate experts. Like I mentioned before, once you get that appraised value, reassess your options. This is when you definitely want to talk with your lender. And if you're not sure what they're presenting you, ask them, what does this mean for me at the end of the day? What does this say? Break it down in layman's terms. If you're working with someone that you feel cannot break it down for you, you've probably not chosen someone you're comfortable with. But at this stage, you really need to ask the questions until you get the answer, because like I said before, time is of the essence and you have some obligations in that executed contract that you're expected to uphold. Understand what everything means for you at the end of the day. If you have to come up with more funds at the closing table, be clear on what that is. If you don't, because of the offer and the appraisal value being in good standing, be clear on that as well. Be clear on what you're expected to do and also understand what others are doing in the background so that you don't have this impression that there's just nothing going on. There's a lot that goes on with different parties. There's a lot of things being arranged so that everyone can meet at the closing table and the documents can be signed. Like I said in the last step, you definitely want to read through all of your documents prior to getting to the closing table, because at the closing table, it's the formality of it really. We don't want to spend a lot of time reading through all the documents because we have that time prior to ask the questions of the right experts and get the understanding. And if anything needs to be corrected, it would ideally be corrected before you get to the closing table. For everyone here, if you are unrepresented and still want to buy a home, I know 2025 is closing out, but if you're interested in purchasing or selling a home in Gwinnett or DeKalb counties of Georgia, feel free to go to dtkrealty.com /book-me. If you go to dtkrealty.com, you'll find it quite easily. You can also go to the link moving at the bottom of the screen, and it will take you to a tab that says Let's Chat, and you can schedule from there as well. If you schedule a consultation and you do not appear on video, you are incurring a $15 no-show fee. So make sure you schedule a time when you can attend and are prepared to be on video for that consultation. If you are someone who knows you're looking to buy or sell, but you're not in my area, or maybe you don't need residential services, I can still refer you to a real estate agent, realtor, or broker in your area for the services that you need. Please text the word referral to 770-758-5641, and we will contact you. I will walk you through the process of what the referral looks like. It does mean that we'll need to review documentation. You'll need to sign it, and then I can go to find a real estate agent, realtor, or broker on your behalf for the services that you're looking for. I usually can do that within 24 to 48 hours. However, it is the holiday season, so we may need to give people more time and grace. But once I find someone for the services that you're looking for, I would contact you both, connect you, and then you will both go off and find that property or sell that property that you have. For everyone, please subscribe to this channel. Our subscriptions are going up, so I can appreciate that. And I thank everyone that has subscribed. Please like this video. Follow us on our other social media pages. Again, we are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, and Substack. So please like and follow and subscribe wherever you see us. Comment down below if you have any questions, comments. Please put them in the comment section. If there's something confidential or private to you, please discuss it with me during that consultation that you would schedule. And feel free to share our content to others across social media that you feel would be interested in this type of content, even if you want to share it on your own pages. So that ends our presentation, and that ends step. Not sure what happened with StreamYard just then, but we have finished our 12-step series. We have some bonus topics that we'll talk about here and there, but we have gone through the process of going through one step each month. We have not quite closed, so we have some additional steps to talk about, but I wanted to make sure that everything we discuss in this series is more of a bite-sized way, so that if you're someone who's intimidated by buying a home, or you're someone who's never done it before, or maybe you haven't done it in a long time and you're like, things have changed so much, I'm just intimidated, I'm a little nervous, or I'm even scared about what it means to buy a home nowadays, I wanted you to be able to walk through these steps in like a small bite-sized portion throughout this year. And I hope that I accomplished that for you all. And even for those who find this content at a later date and watch the replays, I hope that you find it, that it's simple enough, it's bite-sized enough that you could really understand the content and walk it out to home ownership. Like I said, we have some more steps because we hadn't quite sat at the closing table on this series, but we're going to get there. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss when we do get there, and you're notified when we talk about those things. Like I said, some things are going to change for 2026, so make sure you don't miss anything by being a subscriber. Thank you everyone who came, peeked in, subscribed, liked the video, commented. I appreciate all of it, and I love to engage with you all more in the next videos. I will see you all on the next videos where we talk about market data for Gwinnett and DeKalb County for the last topics of this year of 2025. But I'll also see you all in 2026 when we get into some new topics. Let's talk about things like making your home more green or more sustainable options. We'll get into all of that in 2026, so you don't want to miss it. Subscribe now so that you don't. This is Dreams to Keys Realty, where your dreams turn into keys. I am the Essential Millennial Realtor, Jalon Strong, and I'm signing off for this video. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night and a great rest of the year. Happy New Year to all of you that I will see in 2026. Have a good night. Bye-bye.